All right. So this is going to be an interactive experience from the beginning. And when I say interactive, I mean sort of like on my part of the screen and your part of the screen, but you're going to get the full interactive experience because, of course, you're not going to unmute, because if everybody unmuted at the same time, it would be a mess. But in order to go through the steps of the Seder, to begin all together going through the steps of the Seder, I'm going to sing and then you're going to repeat. So, Seth, can we get our yes? Here we go. Kadesh. Repeat. Kadesh. Orchatz. Karpas. Yachatz. Magid. Rochza. Motzi. Matzah. Maror. Korech. I hope you're doing this. Shulchan. Orech. Safun Barech. Hallel Nirtzah. We all sing hey ya. Hey ya, 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 ho. Hey ya, 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 ho. Hey ya, 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 ho. We'll be doing that again one more time before we start. So welcome, everybody. I am Rabbi Lizzie Heidemann from Mishkan. As I'm looking around the screen, I know so many of your faces, and it's great to see you. And for those who I don't know or haven't seen in a long time, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're here. This is our third Zoom Seder. In 2020, in April of 2020, exactly 2 years ago, we had like 500 screens of people doing Seder with us, which is not surprising because everybody was on complete lockdown and we had no idea what was going on. In our second year, last year, the vaccine rollout had begun, but most people still hadn't gotten it. And most people were still being very, very cautious. And so we did another Zoom Seder, and 300 or so screens came, about 350 screens. And this year, here we are well into people are getting their fourth vaccine shot, their second booster, lower COVID rates. People are gathering with family and friends in person. And a lot of people are just like can't take Zoom anymore. And nonetheless, there are like over 150 people who are gathered here, like 116 screens at least, who have signed up to be here tonight. And I don't know, I'm heartened by that. And I'm so happy to see multiple people in screen boxes and individuals and families and all of us here together. So we're calling this Seder this year Toward a New Promised Land. Toward a New Promised Land. So I want to share a quote. This is the historian Michael Walser. Maybe you've heard this one before. It's how he ends his book, Exodus and Revolution. Wherever you live, it's probably Egypt. Wherever you live, it's probably Egypt. Yet there is a better place, a world more attractive, a promised land. And the concept of a promised land, so that's what we're theming this Seder around tonight. The idea of like moving in a direction, having a vision of where we want to go, articulating it, holding it out as a beacon that calls us toward that vision. And even as we realize we may never get there in our lifetime, we still can get closer and closer and closer, and we have to. And we have to. It's what we want to do. And so the Jewish tradition is, Rabbi Jonathan Sachs says, the Jewish tradition is like fractals, like one part of it is the same as another part of it that may look very different in a different part of the calendar, but you see the same themes popping up and cropping up over the entire calendar. And so in the Torah, the Jews are liberated from Egypt, and they are pointed in the direction of the promised land. This land of milk and honey and figs and olive and date trees, a paradise. But in the Torah, they never get there. They never get there. The Torah ends with Moses and the Jewish people sort of on the cusp of entering, but they never get to the promised land. And even once the Torah is over and you get to the later books in the Hebrew Bible, we do get to the promised land, but it turns out that not even the promised land really lives up to the promise of the promised land, right? The promised land was going to be this place that God gave to the children, the grandchildren, great-grandchildren of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob as an inheritance. And if they stewarded the land responsibly and took care of the orphan and the widow and the stranger, and they practiced equitable farming and economic practices, all of which the Torah describes in great detail, if they exercised judgment righteously, and there's harmony and cooperation from the leaders of the people, then they will be able to thrive in the land the Torah describes. And guess what? It didn't last, right? The reason why we practice Judaism today all over the world is because there was a temple in Jerusalem at the center of that holy land that was destroyed, sending us all over the world as refugees and as wanderers. And we built a tradition that could survive in the wilderness. And yet we kept turning our faces eastward to look longingly toward that promised land, toward that holy city, and the idea of a promised land, more than the actual place even, as we experience the disappointment of knowing what happens in a promised land. So there's this real tension in the idea even of a promised land. But we know, and this has carried us through this pandemic, that hope is what keeps people alive and working toward a better world, imagining and describing it and working toward it. And so at Seders, since the Seder was created for thousands of years, we have been saying at the end of every Seder, and as we will tonight, next year in Jerusalem, as a way of expressing that yearning for a perfected world, for a redeemed world. And even today, if you're in Jerusalem, if you're sitting in Jerusalem doing Seder, you still end Seder with next year in Jerusalem, as if Jerusalem is more of an idea to be fulfilled than the reality that exists in this time and space. And so we look forward to the potential, the promise, and the hope that we will one day inhabit that time and space that we will call Jerusalem, next year in Jerusalem, right? As Michael Walzer says, wherever you live, it's probably Egypt. So, zooming out. As we thought about the timing of this Seder, we know that it may feel to many like we're exiting the pandemic, but to many, the dangers of COVID are still very real. We have people on this call tonight who are on the call because they're sick and they're at home and they're quarantining. And that's still very real for people. People are still missing work and missing travel and not doing well because of this pandemic. It's still very real. But B, the iniquities that COVID exposed and exacerbated are still very much a part of our world, right? Like the extreme inequality between, and the access between those of us who could work from home during the pandemic and those who could not and had to risk health, especially before there was a vaccine, those with money in the bank that grew during the pandemic, and those who would have lost their homes were it not for an eviction moratorium. Right? The people who could afford to pull their kids out of public school and go to a private school where instruction was happening in person. And those who could not do that and who lost months and months of in school time. So as it has been said, we were all in the same COVID sea, but we were not all in the same boat. We were all in the same COVID sea, but we were not in the same boat. And so the idea of moving backward, of going back to what we had before, that's actually not the promised land. Going back, back to normal is not the promised land. We have the opportunity to imagine what the future could look like and could look like better. So Michael Walzer writes, "The way to the promised land is through the wilderness, And there is no way to get from there to here, from here to there, except by joining together and marching. There's no way to get from here to there except by joining together and marching. So we wanted our Seder this year at Mishkan to focus on how we describe where we want to go so that we can hold hands and march together as a community. We've asked members of the community who lead some of our different justice efforts to talk about that at different points in the Seder. And we hope that you'll, pipe up in the chat as well as you have ideas about some of these questions that the Seder raises. So I love that people have already been putting where you are.
Oh, I hear them right here. Oh.
Hi. Hello.
Hi.
Great. We're mostly going to stay muted unless you've got a speaking part. But that was fun. And that was a great little reminder to everybody that we're going to stay muted unless you have a speaking part or unless you're invited to unmute for whatever reason. So please, if you haven't already shared, where are you? You can, or if you want to rename yourself, you can click on the upper right-hand part of your screen. You can rename yourself, whoever is with you, and you can say where you are. Mine says Rabbi Lizzie Heidemann, Chicago. And then that's, one way to show where you are for the whole Seder. And as I said, many of you have signed on since I started speaking. I'm Rabbi Lizzie Heidemann. Nice to see you. Maybe we could get a spotlight with some of the other rabbis leading, Rabbi Stephen, Rabbi Dina, just to say hello.
Hello.
Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach.
Hi, everyone.
Hi. Thank you in advance to the Mishkan staff that's here tonight, Zach Weinberg, Seth Torres, Rebecca Stevens for supporting tonight's Seder, and thanks to all of you for being here. Let's get started. Let's do the order of the Seder again. Kadesh, Orchatz, Karpas, Yachatz, Magir rochta, motzi matzah, kar maror, korech, shulchan, orech, tzafun, barech, halel.
Here we go. We're jumping right in. We're not quite jumping in there yet because I had to get instructions first. We need to pour. Okay, I guess those instructions are good too. If you don't have the stuff that you need for your Seder, right now is a good time to get that stuff. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pour our first glass of wine or grape juice, whatever you have on hand. I got my full bottle right here ready to go. So we are going to be drinking 4 cups of wine or juice tonight. These 4 cups are connected to a lot of different themes, but one of the themes that the rabbis connect these 4 cups to is to a specific passage in the Exodus story. We're looking at Exodus 6, verses 6 through 7, where God says to the Israelites, I will bring you out of Egypt, I will deliver you, I will redeem you, and I will take you to be my people. And so the rabbis take each of those 4 verbs, I will bring you out, I will deliver you, I will redeem you, I will take you to be my people, and connect them to each of these 4 cups of wine, showing that the process of becoming a free people is not just one instance, but it's multiple stages, that we actually move from degradation, from slavery, from that narrow place to a place of abundance, of openness, of possibility, not just in one instance, but in multiple stages. Hence, spending all of this time together to bring ourselves from one position, from one mindset into another mindset as we slowly emerge from one to the other. We are setting the table here for abundance. The reason the rabbis want us to spend time preparing for this meal, to have all of these different items on our Seder plate, to have all these glasses of wine, is to really lean into the idea of what it means to have the meal of a free people, right? This is not a meal of oppression. This is not a meal of sadness. This is a meal of celebration of our freedom. And so we indulge a little bit. We indulge a little bit to show that freedom is not just about surviving, but it's about thriving as well. And we envision a world, as our Rabbi Dina mentioned in her sermon last week. If you caught it, if you didn't catch it, it's on our podcast. But as Rabbi Dina mentioned in her sermon last week, it's not just about freedom from, but also freedom to. Not just a place of where we're surviving, but moving from survival into thriving as well. And so as we pick up this first cup of wine, as we begin to kind of imagine what it might be like to be in that first stage of redemption, to be in the stage of coming out, right? Of kind of imagining where are the narrow places in our lives, where is the parts of ourselves that are feeling stuck in Mitzrayim, in that narrow, dark place. And we begin to look ahead to the next stage. Okay, what does it mean to move from that to surviving, to having the resilience to move, then maybe to thriving, and then maybe into abundance by the end of this meal. We pick up our first glass here, and we are going to, there we go. We got our Haggadah open. We lift it up together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen.
Amen.
And we continue. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol am v'romanu mikol lashon v'kiddishanu mitzvotav v'titen lanu Adonai Eloheinu b'ahava modin l'simcha chagim uzmanim l'sason et yom chag hamatzot hazeh zman cherutenu mikra kodesh zecher l'tzat Mitzrayim kivanu v'charta v'otanu kiddashta mikol ha'amim ומודה קודשך בשמחה ובששון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש ישראל והזמנים. Amen. We take a sip. Blessed are you, soul of the universe, who has connected us among all peoples and languages and made us holy through your mitzvot, the mitzvah of gathering, of coming together, of celebrating, of having the Seder. In love, you gave us festivals and moments for joy and special times for celebration like this night, this Passover, a sacred gathering to celebrate our exodus from Egypt. Let's pause to take a deep breath in acknowledgement of all the circumstances that brought us together at this moment, wherever you're tuning in from, however you found that internet connection that has allowed you to be here connected together, welcoming all who join this ritual, honoring all who are remembered, and celebrating this amazing privilege of being alive at this very moment. At this very moment, it's Havdallah. We're turning to Lizzie. There we go.
Oh yeah, the lights are off, and I got fire. All right. I also have a friend here holding the, I don't have 3 hands. I have 2 hands and a friend. There are usually 4 blessings for Havdallah, 1 over the wine, 1 over the spices, 1 over the flame, and then finally 1 over the distinction between Shabbat and the week, Kodesh and Chol. But not tonight. Tonight we just did the blessing for wine, and we're only going to bless the candle. And we're not going to bless from Kodesh to Chol, from holy to ordinary, because we're not going into the ordinary. It's still a holiday. It is still Chag. And so we bless from Kodesh to Kodesh, from holy into holy. So feel free to join me and sing with me. Oh my gosh, for your first Passover, yes! I'm so happy you're here with us. Welcome. And so this really is from holy to holy. we were trying to think of like what are some life experience that are like not the come down of from the great thing to something boring or ordinary, but like the rolling from one great thing into the next great thing. And we were thinking like maybe the stages of falling in love, or of having a great meal, or for example of going from one holiday into the next, or from beginning your first Passover and just going moment to moment as the moments happen. So enjoy. Here we go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei meorei ha'esh. You can hold your fingernails up into the fire even if it's my fire on the screen. Borei meorei ha'esh. Baruch atah Adonai. Let's not get the wax on the computer. Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamavdil bin kodesh lechol ben or lechoshech ben Yisrael ve'amim ben yom hashvi'i l'sheshet yamei hamaseh ben kedushat haShabbat lekedushat yom tov Havdallah vet yom hashvi מששת ימי המעשה קידשת, הבדלת וקידשת את עמך בישראל בקדושתך. ברוך אתה אדוני המבדיל בין קודש לקודש. Wait, hang on. Yes, let's take that screen down. We're going to put this candle out in the wine. Shavua Tov, a good new week. We'll sing Eliyahu Hanavi after dinner. All right. Thank you. Yeah. And for everybody who's here for the first time, that was a good candle sizzle. Thank you. Thank you. Always got to like stick around for that sizzle. For everybody who's here for the first time, for everybody who's doing Passover for the first time, this is for you. This is a shehechianu, a blessing for first times, for times we want to remember. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. One more time. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. אמן.
to be together. Our next step is orchatz, the first of 2 times that we are going to wash our hands tonight. But this one, we say no blessing. It's just a preparation to sort of wash our fingers off before we eat finger foods. We wash with a blessing later as a ritual preparation to enjoy a meal. This one is just a cleaning moment, just like a little scrub off the tip of your fingers before you go and get them in your food. And it's a reminder to us that sometimes we need to show up physically and give ourselves some time to settle in before we can really be ready to show up spiritually. So go ahead and just dip your mitts in something, like a little water, go run to the sink and wash your hands off. No blessing for this one. And then I'm going to pass it over to Hans and John of our sustainability team to lead us in karpas, which is the finger food we're about to eat.
Hi, everybody. I'm John. I'm really honored to speak on behalf of the folks from the sustainability team, which is working on reducing Mishkan's reliance on fossil fuels so we can be part of the movement towards a cleaner future. I think everybody on the Zoom probably knows that we're in the midst of a climate crisis that threatens the livelihoods of creatures big and small all around the globe, and has already had a devastating impact on the environment and the resources we rely on to survive, and on the most vulnerable members of our communities all around the globe. We as individuals aren't always the ones that are responsible for global warming and the problems that come from it, but I think we probably all feel obligated to be part of the solution. So one of the things that we're going to be asking folks to do, and you'll probably hear more about this later, is to take more sustainable modes of transportation to Mishkan services over the course of the warmer months in Chicago, if you're in person and you're able to do that by carpooling or taking public transit. So we'll hope you will join us in that. Passover is Hag HaAviv, the festival of spring. And I don't know about you, but I'm inside. It's a little cold here in Chicago, and we're seated at the Seder table. But when you eat a vegetable, fruit, or green, or something that comes from the ground, it reminds us of our connection to that ground and our reliance on the world around us. So before you dip the karpas in the salt water and you eat, think about, where does this come from? How was it grown? Who harvested it? How did it get to the table? What are the steps that it took to make it to the place where you are sitting and about to eat it today? And what choices can we all make together, individually and together, that ensure that we can celebrate a spring and renewal each year when we sit down to observe Passover? Our tradition commands us to steward the land, which is a relationship that requires vision, but also humility. We can understand what is in our power to do to use the resources on the planet, but also to protect that planet, and the curiosity to learn from and appreciate the wonders of the natural world. We're working towards our promised land, where children and our children's children can enjoy the beauty and biodiversity of this planet, with access to clean air and water, where resources are abundant and sustainably sourced and accessible to everyone. So we're going to move into the karpas, and I might call on Rabbi Stephen for some help. So you're going to get your karpas, if you have one, which you should. It was in the instructions. Mine is a little tiny, but you can see it. Before you eat it, we're going to say together, you want to join me, Rabbi Stephen?
We got to dip it first. We got
to dip it first. Thank you.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry. We're improvising.
Great. Let's find our salt water.
Okay.
So mine's a very, very sad piece of celery that was very solid when it started on my Seder plate and is now very limp.
I have some rosemary that's also similarly sad.
Excellent.
Okay.
I have a strawberry, which is also Borei Pri Ha'adama.
Oh, fancy. Okay, we'll say the blessing together.
Okay.
Baruch
atah
Adonai
Eloheinu melech haolam,
borei pri ha'adamah.
So of course we just dip the fresh spring vegetable, limp though it may be, the fresh spring vegetable into salt water. And so we sing this line from Psalms. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears, who reap in joy, will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears, will reap in joy, will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears, will reap in joy, will reap in joy. Those who will sow in tears, will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears, will reap in joy, will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears, will reap in joy. I'd like to ask Stefan Hunter to help us with breaking the middle matzah.
Gladly. Hi, everybody. My name's Stephanie, and this is my partner, Hunter. We're builders at Mishkan. Thank you so much for inviting us to introduce Yachatz. And we begin our story in degradation and end it in elation, which is just such a Jewish way to do things, says the Mishnah. I added that last part. That's you. You're the next one.
The Passover story begins in slavery and oppression, and the matzah we are about to break embodies that foundational brokenness. This brokenness is not only something that happened a long time ago in a land far away. Mitzrayim is any place, person, situation, or mental state that traps us in patterns of unhealthy behavior and negative thinking, telling us we don't have what it takes to reach the promised land.
But as Leonard Cohen says, there is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. So with that, we're going to do our ritual, which is we're going to hold up. Wait, we got to get the middle matzah. So we've got 3. Oh, and this came from Rachel Ellison's art studio. If you don't know Rachel Ellison, she does a lot of the art for Mishkan. And we're going to grab the middle matzah in here. And we're going to break the middle matzah, and we're going to take place the larger portion in a napkin, and we're going to hide it for our dog Marvin to find later. And at the end of the Seder, we'll piece it back together, gesturing at the wholeness and healing we yearn for. Oh, and the smaller piece, put it back in the middle of the stack. I think I got all that right.
Yeah.
There are many rabbis on the call who can step forward if we got anything wrong. Hag Sameach.
Chag Sameach. We begin our telling. Halachma anya di achalu ahavtana be'arad Mitzrayim Kol dichvin yetei v'yechol, kol ditrif yetei v'yechzach, hashetacha l'shana haba be'arad Yisrael, hashetach b'dei l'shana haba b'nei chorin halachma anya diachalu ahavtana be'ara de Mitzrayim be'ara de Mitzrayim.
We can go to the next part. I just want to say before we read the English, we had an amazing matzah making and matzah cover making workshop with Rachel Ellison the other day, and I have my matzah cover I made, and it's upside down. I'm very proud of it. Very proud of my matzah cover here. We lift up our matzot. This is the bread of affliction. May all who are hungry come and eat. This year we are here. Next year in the land of Israel. This year we are slaves. Next year may we be a free people. This year we are here. Next year may we be a step closer to the promised land. So for the past year, I have represented Mishkan and our economic justice team, one of our 4 social justice teams here at Mishkan, on an interfaith roundtable working in partnership with One Northside and the JCUA to end homelessness in the city of Chicago. And we are folks coming from Jewish and Christian and Muslim and Baha'i and Buddhist communities from across the city. We share the vision of a society where all people have access to basic resources required for life. So during Passover, we make this bold declaration. We just made this bold declaration, in fact, either singing with Rabbi Lizzie or reading the English with me, that all who are hungry, every single person should come to our tables to eat. I kind of wonder, what would it look like to actually take that statement seriously? What would it look like to really open up our homes? To not just say this line, but to open our doors, to go out onto the street and say, you look hungry, you look like you need shelter, you look like you need community. Come inside. I have a place for you at my table. So I believe that this kind of courage is built into the very structure of our community here at Mishkan. When Mishkan first started, we relied on volunteers who freely gave of their time and their energy and their resources to help us run services and events and our programming. And when we proposed that this community would be founded on the value of radical inclusivity, there were a few individuals who took the incredible leap of faith to invest their resources into this project, ensuring that all people could participate, regardless of their financial ability. And look at what we've grown into. Like actually look at the list of participants on the Zoom call. Look at this amazing staff who are here to support this Seder together. Look at people from all over tuning in to celebrate together, who have the opportunity to come together this moment. The economic justice team takes that same ethos that has built Mishkan outside of this community to see how we might transform our city in Chicago, wherever you might be, and our country. Our team is working toward the promised land where all people not only have access to the basic necessities of survival, but the resources that allow them to grow and to thrive. I believe we're ready for the second cup.
Into that. So at the beginning of the Seder, Rabbi Stephen gave us one explanation for why we have 4 cups of wine. So in great Jewish fashion, I'm going to give you a totally different explanation. This one from the Maharal of Prague, a rabbi best known for the story that he created a golem, which is like a mud monster that did his bidding. And he said that the 4 cups of the Seder correspond to the 4 matriarchs in the Torah, to Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. And so this second cup is for Rebecca. And I want to invite us, since we're not going to go through each of these 4 matriarchs, to take this one as an opportunity to toast the strong women who care for us and who guide us and who chide us and who are us. To raise a glass in honor of all of the people who don't get enough thanks and don't get enough recognition, who make this moment possible. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Lean left a little bit as you drink, which as a left-handed person is not that helpful. I should probably lean right, but that's the tradition. There are...
Rabbi Dina, why are we leaning left? Why do you lean left?
We lean left in imitation of the Greek symposium where we would be lounging as we did the Seder. In a right-handed normative world, you would lean on your left arm and eat with your right. So if you're left-handed, maybe just go ahead and switch that. And we're trying to be so free that we don't even hold our bodies upright. We just lean over. Okay, I think we're
Flash, the
ready.
rabbis wanted us to lean left. Okay.
I wasn't going to say it. I think we are ready to hear the 4 questions sung by our fabulous students in the Mensch Academy, Mishkan's supplementary school. It's not a Hebrew school. It's not really a religious school, but it's like a after school, learn Jewish, do Jewish, be in Jewish community. And we are going to hear their rendition of the 4 questions.
That is too adorable. Too adorable. Can't handle. So our Mensch Academy students just asked the question, what is so different about this night from all other nights? And we actually get this question asked 4 times, and for each of those times we get a different answer. The first answer, on all other nights we eat both leavened bread if we want, and matzah if we like it too, because why not? Matzah can be a year-round food, but tonight we only eat matzah. The second answer, on all other nights we eat all kinds of vegetables, sha'ar yerakot, but tonight we specifically eat maror, some sort of bitter herb. The third answer, on all other nights we aren't expected to dip our vegetables. We don't dip our vegetables unless you really want to, but tonight we're commanded to do it twice. We already did one, and the second time is coming up. And then the fourth answer, on all other nights, we can eat sitting up, relaxing, standing, lying flat on the ground, but tonight specifically, as Rabbi Dina explained earlier, we are commanded to relax. We lean, misubin.
One of the things that I love about those questions is that they're all observational. They're like just looking at the table and being like, why? Why is there matzah? Why are we dipping twice? It's like asking why things are in a way that seems superficial, but then gets at deeper answers. Because of course, the point of the 4 questions is to prelude the story that we're going to tell. That the way things seem on the surface is usually an indication of some kind of deeper truth or deeper story. And sometimes that story is painful, and sometimes that story is interesting. And in all cases, the story is probably worth knowing. So we begin with Avadim Hayinu. We were slaves. That's part of the answer. Avadim Hayinu, Hayinu. Ata b'nei chorin, b'nei chorin. Avadim haynu. Ata b'nei chorin. Avadim haynu. Ata b'nei chorin, b'nei chorin. Avadim haynu, haynu. Ata b'nei chorin, b'nei chorin. Avadim haynu. Ata b'nei chorin. Avadim haynu. Ata b'nei chorin, b'nei chorin. This is called a shruti box. It's sort of like a very primitive accordion.
We were slaves to Pharaoh in Egypt. And then the Lord our God took us from there with a strong outstretched arm. If the Holy One hadn't brought our ancestors out from Egypt, then we, our children, and our children's children would still be slaves to Pharaoh in Egypt. And even if we were all wise, all learned, and all versed in Torah, it would be incumbent upon us to tell the story of the Exodus from Egypt. And anyone who adds to that telling of Exodus is praiseworthy. Chag Sameach.
This is going to be a different tune for this song, Baruch HaMakom. One of my favorite metaphors for God. The Hebrew language has hundreds of metaphors for God. There's no word God in Hebrew. They're all metaphors. So HaMakom, which means the place, is one of the good ones. So Baruch HaMakom, blessed is the space or the place that gave us the Torah. Ay, 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 Baruch HaMakom, Baruch HaMakom, ay, 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 Baruch HaMakom, Baruch HaMakom, Shenatan Torah le'amo Yisrael, Baruch HaMakom, Baruch HaMakom, Baruch Hu, Baruch HaMakom, Baruch HaMakom, Baruch Hu, ay, 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 Baruch HaMakom, Baruch HaMakom, ay, 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 Baruch HaMakom, Baruch HaMakom, Shenatan Torah le'amo Yisrael, Baruch HaMakom, Baruch HaMakom, Baruch Hu, Baruch HaMakom, Baruch HaMakom, Baruch Hu, ay, 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 ay. I hope you're singing with me wherever you are. Now you've got it. Ay, 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 Baruch HaMakom, Baruch HaMakom, Shenatan Torah le'amo Yisrael, Baruch HaMakom, Baruch HaMakom, Baruch Hu, Baruch HaMakom, HaMakom. Ay, 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 ay. Baruch HaMakom, Baruch HaMakom.
Chag Sameach. I'm Jenny. I'm a builder at Mishkan and a leader on the justice team at Mishkan.
And my name is Joe. I'm a builder at Mishkan and an organizer at JCUA. Corresponding to 4 children does the Torah speak. 1 who is deemed wise, 1 who is deemed bad, 1 who is deemed innocent, and 1 who does not know how to ask.
I represent the group within Mishkan's larger justice team that focuses on community safety and policing. Last year, our committee and our partners at the Jewish Council on Urban Affairs helped pass the ECPS ordinance, which we believe will bring a transformative shift in the relationship between the people of Chicago and the police. We use the model of the 4 children to voice the questions folks in our community may have about the ordinance and about policing more broadly. We choose not to label the children as wise or wicked or anything else, as these are all valid and important questions that we think folks of all ages in our community are likely to ask. The first child asks, "What is this ordinance?" We say to that child, ECPS stands for Empowering Communities for Public Safety. It creates 2 groups that will play key roles in police accountability in the years to come. The first group are district councils that are elected by our community to represent the police districts and listen to their community's concerns. The second group is a citywide commission that will write new CPD policy and take citywide action based on the findings of the district councils. These new structures were created by a coalition of local organizations representing many diverse populations in the city, all of whom want to see a change in how policing happens. The second child asks, "Don't police keep us safe?" We say to that child, many media outlets and politicians teach us that the job of the police is to keep us safe. However, Chicago has more police officers per capita than all other large cities. If we use the logic that more police will give us a safer city, our city should be one of the safest. However, crime continues to be a problem in Chicago. This is because police respond to crimes that have already happened. But to be truly safe, we need policies that actually prevent crimes from occurring. Ultimately, safety begins by investing in communities, not investing in police. Strong, healthy, connected, and thriving communities with access to excellent schools, healthcare, housing, and job opportunities are safe communities.
The third child asks, "Why do Jews care about this issue?" To this child, you shall reply, "Police violence is a Jewish issue." People in our community are targets of police violence. Black Jews and Jews of color, queer, trans, and non-binary Jews are all at higher risk of experiencing violence at the hands of police. Freedom and safety for the Jewish people will not come from more policing, but from building holistically safer communities. Our freedom will only come from acting in solidarity with all people who are committed to building a genuine multiracial democracy. Jewish tradition emphasizes teshuvah, people's ability to change, and the importance of changing harmful systems too. We know that biased and racist policing has hurt thousands of people and cost billions of dollars in police department payouts that protect police from the consequences of their actions. Yet most cities would rather continue with systems as they are than change them in ways that will make police more accountable and invest in the communities hurt by police violence. Chicago is taking a big step forward towards greater police accountability with the ECPS ordinance, and this is part of the teshuvah that as Jews we can contribute to our city. The fourth child asks, "What role do I play in creating a safer city?" You should say to this child, "We need everyone's participation to make sure the ECPS ordinance does what it says it will do." The first elections for district council positions are less than a year away in February of 2023, and we're already recruiting candidates to run for these positions. And if running for office doesn't seem like the right role for you, we'll still need your help educating voters about these new elected offices. Please, I believe Rabbi Stephen will be putting a link in the chat. So please click the link to sign up to learn more about Mishkan's work with JCUA on community safety, on funding for violence prevention, and for public services that address the root causes of violence, as well as for alternatives to policing like the Treatment Not Trauma campaign.
Our team is working towards a promised land where we will see all communities have the necessary resources to grow, love, learn, work, thrive, and live with dignity.
As Joe mentioned, we'll be popping a link into the chat during our announcements to sign up to learn more about each of our social justice teams and the amazing work that we're doing. We're so excited we get to highlight some of that work tonight. We're going to continue in our Haggadah on page 16 as we continue on the path of telling our Exodus story. Arami Oved Avi Vayered Mitzrayma Vayegar Sham Bimte Me'at Vayehi Sham L'Goy Gadol Atzum V'Rav. I am excited to introduce Ronan Goforth, if you're here, if you made it, and Courtney Chatterton, who I know is here, leaders of our amazing refugee resettlement team, who will lead us through Armi Oved Avi, continuing the English and then sharing some about the team and the work they're doing.
An Aramaean tried to destroy my father. He went down to Egypt and lingered there with a small group. It was there that we transformed into a great nation, massive and many. The Egyptians did evil to us. They tortured us and saddled us with punishing work. We cried out to the one, the God of our ancestors, and God heard our voices and saw our torture and our toil and the great pressure upon us. God lifted us out of Egypt with a mighty hand and an outstretched arm, with awesome spectacle, with signs and undeniable wonders. So I don't know if Ronan's here, so I'm going to go ahead and tell you about the Refugee Resettlement team. The script just closed on my phone, so bear with me. We've been working with HIAS and JCFS, which is Jewish Child and Family Services, to co-sponsor refugees who are creating new homes in Chicago after being displaced from their countries of origin. This year, we raised over $20,000 to help settle 2 households. Once we are assigned an individual or family, our team works to furnish their apartment, meet them at the airport, and provide support as they navigate living in the United States, often for the first time. Earlier this year, we welcomed a young man from Afghanistan. We anticipate welcoming a second individual or family in the coming months. Passover asks us to relive the story of our ancestors as if it was our own, remembering all of the times that Jews and their loved ones have been forced to leave our homes in search of a new place to live free from the threat of harm or degradation. For some of you, this may be a story that has been experienced more recently. For others, this may be a story from the distant past. However, we may connect with it by saying, this is what God did for me when I came out of Egypt. We both understand the experience of displacement and are commanded to respond to it. For as the Torah reminds us, we must love and protect the stranger because we know the soul of the stranger, having been strangers ourselves in the land of Egypt. Our team is working towards the promised land where all people are able to live free from the threat of harm or violence, where the stranger finds welcome at our table, and where each of us are encouraged and supported to become our best selves.
Beautiful.
Amen to that. Thank you for all of the work that you are doing. It is so special to get to hear about all of the ways that there are so many people in this community genuinely bringing us to a promised land. And we know we're not there yet. And last year, Rabbi Aryeh Bernstein wrote something on Facebook that really stuck with me. He wrote that, I'm hearing that I'm very quiet. Let's see if I can turn my audio up a little. Better? Can you hear me better? Apparently that looks better on my Zoom. He wrote that the move to, at the Seder, try to identify modern day plagues like racism and police brutality and COVID and misogyny, and to name those as our modern day plagues actually aligns us with Pharaoh, who was the target of the biblical plagues, right? Pharaoh was the one who experienced these negative impacts. When we say these are our plagues, we're on the side of Pharaoh. Uncomfortable as it may be, he wrote, we are on the side of the plagues. The plagues were the impetus for our freedom. they're also things that help us now when we have freedom to feel empathy for the Egyptians. So at the time of the story that we are telling tonight, we were on the side of the plagues. They were accomplishing the change that we needed to see in the world. Now, today, when we recite the plagues, we do it with empathy, even for the oppressor. We are able to have empathy for innocent people who suffer because of a system that is broken. So we are going to say the 10 plagues and spill out a little drop of our wine, one for each plague. And I want to invite you to consider at your table or in the chat, who are you spilling tears for tonight, especially people who you don't think of as your people, who are also experiencing their own form of plagues. Go ahead and get your glass. You can use a spoon or a finger. Dam, Svardea,
Svardea,
Kinim,
Kinim,
Arov,
Arov,
Dever,
Dever,
Shchin,
Shechin,
Barad,
Barad,
Arbe,
Arbe,
Choshech,
Choshech,
Makat Bechorot.
Makat Bechorot.
May the liberation that we move towards be a little less painful.
Kama ma'alot tovot lamakom aleinu ilu hotzianu mimitzrayim velo asa bahem shefatim dayenu ilu asa bahem shefatim. Next slide, please. Velo asa ve'elohehem dayenu kama ma'alot tovot lamakom aleinu ilu natan lanu et hashabat velo kervanu livnei har Sinai. Next slide. Ilu kervanu livnei har Sinai velo natan lanu et haTorah. Dayenu ilu natan lanu et haTorah velo hichnisanu le'eretz Yisrael. Dayenu ilu hichnisanu le'eretz Yisrael velo bana lanu et bet habechira. Dayenu, 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 daye. This is a Sephardic tune for dayenu. It kind of captures the pathos Rabbi Dina was talking about, that this story isn't just one of like from low to high, but actually along the way from low to high, those who were high were brought low, and that didn't feel good for them, and those who were low to start with, and that didn't feel good for us either. And there was actually quite a lot of pain and pathos in the story of redemption, and it wasn't just a one-way journey. And yet, we say at every step of the way, dayenu, it would have been enough for us. So we think about the journeys that we're on that aren't easy and that happen in steps and don't happen right away, and how we can offer words of gratitude for even the smallest things on the journey. Kama ma'alot tovot lamakom aleinu. Dayenu, kama ma'alot tovot lamakom aleinu. Dayenu, 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 dayenu. Wait, hang on. You got to bring it back, Seth, because we're actually going to go into the classic one. Ilu hotzianu mi Mitzrayim, hotzianu mi Mitzrayim, dayenu, 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 dayenu. Last slide of dayenu, please. Ilu natan lanu et Torah, natan lanu et Torah, dayenu, 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 dayenu.
This is too early. I don't know if you can hear my dog is going crazy. She wants this holiday so badly. She's eaten 2 already. We are going to read through the 3 sort of core components of the Seder. Rabban Gamliel used to say that anyone who has not explained the significance of these 3 things, I'm just trying to hold this out of my dog's reach, hasn't really done a Seder. We're talking about the Pesach, the Paschal Lamb, the Matzah, and the Maror. So the first one, Pesach al shum ma, to what's up with this lamb shank, which I definitely can't hold up, or you would definitely see the dog. It is to remind ourselves that we stayed inside while the Holy Blessed One passed over our houses, but smote the Egyptian houses. You can reach for some matzah if you don't have a dog who loves it and will jump for it. And we say, matzah zeh she'anu ochlim al shum ma. What's up with this matzah? It is to remind ourselves that even before the dough of our ancestors had time to rise, our people recognized the urgency of the moment and were prepared to do whatever needed to be done to save lives. And then you can hold up your maror. Maror zeh she'anu ochlim al shum ma. What's up with this spicy thing that we are going to eat? To remind ourselves that the Egyptians made our lives bitter with harsh physical labor and spiritual and emotional abuse. And then you might have some other stuff on your Seder plates. So someone might have an orange on their Seder plate. I actually don't have one in front of me, so maybe one of the other rabbis wants to hold it up.
Do you have something cool on your Seder plate?
I have something else cool on my Seder plate. Do you want to do the orange and then I'll tell you what I've got?
I actually don't have an orange. I got something else on my Seder, but I had an orange on our Seder plate yesterday. Rabbi Lizzie, do you have an orange on your Seder plate?
No, because my family's going out of town tomorrow night and we got rid of we ate all of our fruits and vegetables. No, oh my God, I have strawberries.
Oh my God.
All right, well, good job, rabbis. I've got something else orange, so I can talk about the orange and then why I'm holding this piece of carrot.
Yeah,
So,
let's talk about what we have on our Seder plate. That's weird.
Dornbushes have an orange. Great. Dornbushes, thank you for pulling through for us. The orange began as a symbol to raise awareness for the full inclusion of LGBTQI people in Jewish community and has come to represent more expansive inclusion, drawing attention to all of the people on the margins who want to be fully present and empowered in our community, including women and Jews of color and non-Jewish partners and families that are a little different. And oh no. And we pulled down the rest of that, but it's about inclusion, y'all. And I've also got these little pieces of carrot on my Seder plate, which my dog loves. She will go crazy if I don't give this to her in just a moment. And for me, this is one second. For me, this carrot is a reminder of all of the pets that are getting left behind in Ukraine. I found it very sad to see pictures of pets left behind as people flee. And just, it feels like this little reminder of how deep the disruption of people's lives go in war, that they can't bring their beloved pets. I know that if there was a war on this land, I would do anything in my power to bring my dog with me and make sure that she was taken care of. And so I have this carrot in my dog's honor and in honor of the destruction of lives of people in Ukraine.
Rabbi Lizzie, what do you got?
I have olives. It's interesting, actually. Olives have made a more I would say a more visible splash this year as a symbol on the Seder plate, representing the olive branch, which is maybe a little too big to put on a Seder plate, but of peace and peace in Ukraine. But for a long time, actually, olives have represented like the possibility of peace in Israel, and the desire for Palestinians and Israelis to be good to one another, and the fact that we are not there yet, and sort of in solidarity with oppressed people, and especially in the Middle East. So for all of the things that this olive represents. What about you?
I included this looks like a mug of coffee, but it's actually coffee grounds, because it's important for us to remember all the forms of modern slavery that happen around the world, and so many of the products that we enjoy on a regular basis. This coffee is direct trade, thankfully, but it's important to think about where things like coffee, chocolate, a lot of the components of our electronic devices are actually produced through modern slavery, through people who are enslaved in other countries and even in our own country, who are growing things that we eat, who are mining resources that we need for the things that we use every day. And coffee is certainly one of them, but not the only product that might actually be the product of modern day slavery. So I have it on my Seder plate as a reminder of the many exoduses that we still need to work toward.
If anybody else has anything on your Seder plate symbolizing whatever it's symbolizing, feel free to put it into the chat as we go about blessing all of our different symbolic items.
So we're now going to move into the next portion of our Seder, this next step in the order of the evening. If you have a sink near you or some water near you, a cup of water and a bowl, we're going to actually wash our hands this time. We washed them once, but we're going to wash them again with the intent of readying ourselves to eat, because the next parts of the Seder are going to actually involve some eating. So I have here a cup of water. I got a bowl. If you're near a sink or you want to run over, we'll say the blessing over washing our hands together. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kedeshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al netilat yadayim. We bless you, source of all things, who sanctifies us through the commandments, through holy action, asking us to wash our hands before we eat.
We are moving. We bless our matzah. So hold up a piece of matzah. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. And if you didn't say the blessing yesterday, for the commandment to eat matzah, not just the bread of the earth, which is matzah this week, but the actual affirmative commandment to eat matzah, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al achilat matzah.
Are we ready for some hot stuff?
All right. I don't know how many of you saw my little video that made it into the Purim Spiel. It wasn't designed for the Purim Spiel. It was designed as an instructional video for Passover, teaching about how when you eat maror, it's supposed to make you cry. Because of course, maror is to taste bitterness, to taste and feel in your bones. You know, even as we sit here free, we cannot lose a sense of empathy for what not just we've been through, but people going through right now. So we cry, we eat maror and we cry. And then I went ahead and I ate like some of this very herb, and my head almost exploded on screen. So I thought the other rabbis could also share in the glory of whatever it is that you're about to eat that's hot. But there is sort of an affirmative idea to like eat something that's so hot that it makes you shed a tear. It shouldn't be like the kind of hot that you actually enjoy eating. It should be past the point of enjoyment.
So like I
Apparently
have,
their jalapeno isn't going to be that hot though, because my dog has eaten several slices of it and not seemed affected by it. So
Well, then you got to work harder, girl.
yeah.
I got what I
All right.
got.
Steven, what do you have?
I mean, as the other rabbis know, I'm a glutton for spicy, so I have some endive here as a vehicle for my maror. I put some horseradish on it. I'm now taking this lovely habanero sauce that my mother got from the store. We're gonna try. We're gonna try. They've tried to break me before, but it's a challenge. So we'll see.
All right, y'all, let us bless. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al achilat maror.
Amen.
This is really hard.
Oh my God. How did my dog eat this? This is not fun.
This is the best. It's the spice. It's the spice. I love it. Just gonna eat some more here. Shout out to anybody else in the chat. Shout out for people who love the spicy food.
Woo!
This is what it's supposed to be. Okay. All right. Wow. Oh,
I feel like that would have been better if I'd had a shot of tequila with it.
which is actually a kosher for Passover liquor, right? Because it's not made of fermented grain; it's made of fermented agave plant.
Yeah, guys, next year for Morrow, we're doing jalapeno margaritas.
I love that idea. Margaritas are my drink of choice during Passover. We're gonna move into eating a very strange concoction. We're gonna take some matzah. We're gonna take some maror. We're gonna take our charoset. Mine's this blob here in the front. And we're gonna put them together into this Hillel sandwich. It's a mixture of like the sweet and the spicy, the pain that came from slavery, and also the process of redemption and the sweetness that was then taken. Oh, there's my maror. Oh, I just got on my nose a little bit. The sweetness that then comes with freedom as well. The charoset, of course, is representative of the the mortar that the Israelites used while they were slaves in Egypt. And I just want to point out, you might have caught our video online about charoset, about the different kinds of charoset that you might make. Some people might be familiar with the Ashkenazi charoset, the apples and walnuts mixed together. The one I have here is a Sephardi charoset that I made that's dates and apricots and raisins mixed together. We also have in the Haggadah, some might throw it in the chat as well if you're able to, an amazing charoset that celebrates Jews of color. That's mangoes and coconut, all these different ingredients that are from different communities of color, including Jews of color as well. What we're gonna do is there's actually, there's no blessing for this one, but it's about holding these tensions together. We are a yes and people. We are the broken glass at the wedding. We are words of praise in the mourner's Kaddish. We take difficult emotions, difficult and disparate emotions, and we put them together knowing that that's what life is about. Life is about experiencing both and. We put the spicy, we put the charoset together, we make this sandwich, and we say bon appetit. Happy Passover, folks.
Good crunch. Let's see. Kadesh, Orchatz, Karpas, Yachatz, Magid Rochta, Motzi Matzah, Maror, Korech. It's Shulchan Aruch. Shulchan Orech. It's time to eat our meal, which means in a moment, we're going to actually break for dinner. But I want to tell you what is coming after dinner. So, you might consider coming back. So first of all, if you signed up for a Mishkan dinner, you've already been sorted into a breakout room behind the scenes. In just a few moments, you will find yourself in a small virtual room with other Mishkanites to just, have dinner in community and have some conversation. If you didn't sign up for a dinner with Mishkan, but actually now you're like, well, that sounds fun, put the word dinner in the chat in all caps and we will sort you. Dinner, all caps, in the chat, and we will sort you into a room. If you choose to stay here in the main room, we will put on Prince of Egypt, the last 35 minutes till the climactic ending with the best music that makes me cry every time as the Israelites are crossing the Red Sea. And you can just, do your own thing also for the next 35 minutes or so. After we come back here, there's actually like a whole section after the Seder. There is more singing, traditional songs and Hallel, and there is now that this is the third year in a row, there is a tradition of witnessing me and Henry Bernstein, my husband, sing Chad Gadya with all of the animal noises of all of the animals inside of the song that eat each other. So also I will have had 4 glasses of wine by then, so that should be fun. I want to say tonight, as Rabbi Stephen said earlier, this was made possible. Tonight is made possible, and actually everything we do is made possible by the generosity of people in the community who can give any amount of money, and who can give more than is actually, than what an experience might cost. We never charge for any of our experiences what they actually cost to produce. Tonight we have 6 full-time people who are here on the Zoom, both leading and supporting behind the scenes. And the way that we do community is everybody puts in something, and then those who can put in more, put in more. And so if you are able to make a donation for Passover, we would be so appreciative. We're going to drop the link in the chat. We'll also send it after Passover. And I just thank you in advance for that. If you were inspired by the adorable Mensch Academy video, we have a specific campaign right now. We are trying to raise $100,000 for the Mensch Academy. And if you're able to do both, do both. But if one or the other of those things speaks to you, if you're like, I really want to support radically inclusive, accessible Jewish education, so please make a donation to the Mensch Academy campaign. And if you already did for either one of these things, thank you. And it's okay, you don't have to do it again. But if you want to, nobody's stopping you. So let's see. We're going to come back here in 35 minutes. So by whenever it is that Rabbi Dina leads us in Kiddush, in our 3rd cup of wine, we'll say L'chaim, and then we'll come back 35 minutes later. So we'll put a time in the chat. But it'll be around 9:36, 9:37, maybe 9:40. All right, over to you, Rabbi Dina.
You're giving me a really long time to say this short blessing. Go ahead and lift your glass or whatever you are drinking. Here's to next year having jalapeno margaritas, but this year a 3rd cup of wine. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Amen. L'chaim. All right, 9:35. L'chaim.
Hi, everyone.
L'chaim, folks. L'chaim.
Prince of Egypt it is. Deliver us. Welcome back, everybody. I think there are probably still some people in breakouts. So, they're closing in 20 seconds. If people want to unmute and just say hello while we're waiting for them, feel free. Yeah, feel free. Let us hear your voices. Hello. Anybody want to just unmute and say hi? Hi. Hello.
Hi, Lizzie.
What's going on? Are you guys in Tel Aviv?
In Tel Aviv.
Or are you in Highland Park or Evanston?
Kenwood Avenue.
Really? Oh, it's my parents. You aren't showing up on screen. I'm not seeing you. Oh, maybe it's because I'm pinned. Am I pinned? Anyway, hello, Mom and Dad.
Hi, Lizzie. Wait, did you take it off video, Peter?
Maybe you did. But now I think all the breakout rooms are back, in which case we can end this conversation. But I do love you.
We love you.
I love you very much. All right. And welcome back, everybody. We are now going to. Hi. Welcome back. It's all good. It's all good, Judy. All good. And especially for people who come back after dinner, you are the hardcore. So welcome back, and we're all friends here. It's all good. In fact, we need to end the meal ceremonially, ritually, by reuniting the halves of the matzah that were broken earlier. And so I actually wanted to give you all the opportunity to find the afikomen on my bookshelf. Hold on, wait, Seth, will you go ahead and take the screen down, please? Thank you. Somewhere on my shelf, the afikomen is hidden. You can unmute if you want, if you have an idea of where to tell me to find it. Anyone?
I think it's on your right, like in front of the tennis cups. Is that it?
What? Right?
Yeah. Did
Michael
more?
Cohen wins a silver dollar from somebody's great uncle. Let's see if in fact it fits. The world can in fact be put back together. Tikkun olam is possible. The halves of the matzah have been reunited, and we take our last bite of matzah before ending the meal. So go ahead. This is your afikomen, your dessert. And we bless. This is the short version of Birkat Hamazon, the blessing after the meal. Brich Rachamana, Malka de Alma, Mahare de Haipita, Brich Rachamana, Malka de Alma, Mahare de Haipita. You are the source of life that for all that is, and your blessing flows through me. You are the source of life for all that is, and your blessing goes through me. Last time. Brich Rachamana, Malka de Alma, Mahare de Haipita. Brich Rachamana, Malka de Alma, Mahare de Haipita.
Hello again, everyone. We are going to, in just a moment, open the door for Elijah. And we say the blessing for Elijah, or we welcome Elijah at 3 moments in Jewish tradition: at the end of Shabbat, at a baby naming, and at the end of the Seder, as recognition that each of these moments are moments of transition into a new week, a new human, a new season of liberation, meaning they might be ones that transition us into a better world. The tradition is that Elijah never died. He went straight up to heaven on a fiery chariot, and he's going to come back to earth to let us know that a new era is dawning, right? That the Messiah is coming, the sort of Mashiach, changing the world in ways we can't even begin to imagine. And so we welcome him at these moments of transition to say, is this the one, Elijah? Is this going to be it? And some families, if you have children around the table, or you just like to do a little gimmicky thing, you might have the tradition of sort of gently shaking the table underneath to make it look like the cup of wine for Elijah is shaking, to make it look like he's drinking it. And then Elijah doesn't walk through the door physically, and it might be tempting to despair or give up. I want to invite you to instead say, I guess that's because everything that we need to change the world for the better is already in this room. So we're going to stand up and open the door, or a window if you don't have a door near you, and welcome in a better world, whether that is through the people who are in it, or the things that we have learned about from our justice team, or or the ways that you are inspired by this Seder to go change the world. So I'm going to go open my door. You can join me in welcoming Eliyahu. Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hagiladi, Bimhera ve'amenu, Yavo Eleyu, Imashiach ben David, Imashiach ben David. And I'm going to transfer it over to Rabbi Lizzie to lead us in the Miriam part of this song, because this is all about song, and so having a little extra music with the guitar is going to help lift us up, I think.
Miriam HaNeviah, Oz v'zimra biyada, Miriam tirkod itanu, lehagdil zimrat olam, Miriam tirkod itanu, letaken et ha'olam, bimhera beyamenu, hitivienu, el mei ha'yeshua, el mei ha'yeshua. Because why should Elijah get to have all the fun? Over to you, Rabbi Stephen. Now that our door is open.
Now that our door is open. So we're about to go into part of the Seder that I think a lot of folks don't like to acknowledge. And in fact, I was leading a Seder last night. We had a bunch of different Haggadot, a bunch of different scripts around the table. And I would say the majority of these Haggadot didn't even include this paragraph, which is part of the traditional Seder, a paragraph that talks about our anger. We can actually even take a look at it now. We'll read the Hebrew in just a second, but let's look at the English here together. Pour your wrath upon the nations that did not know you, and upon the kingdoms that did not call upon your name, for they devoured Jacob, that is us. Pour out your fury upon them, and the fierceness of your anger shall reach them. Pursue them with anger and eradicate them from under the skies of God. This is actually supposed to be like yelled out. Like we've opened the door and like we're supposed to like kind of yell this out the door. And I think this is here in the Seder because our ancestors, those who came before us, either our biological ancestors or spiritual ancestors, had to grapple as we envisioned this world to come. They had to grapple with the gap that exists between the world as it is and the world as it should be. And this gap is really personal. It's about the displacement that we've experienced. It's about the anti-Semitism that our ancestors faced, that we still face today. It's about the violence that we see in the world around us. It's about the fact that we still see so many people trapped in narrow places. We still see degradation. We still see slavery. We still see all of these things that we are celebrating in the Seder having emerged from ourselves, but are actually still honestly living alongside at the same time. There's a lot to be angry or upset about in the world around us. And I'm just kind of thinking that for a moment we should think, as we envision the world, the promised land that we're journeying toward, what is it that angers you? What is it that feels like a roadblock that's getting in the way of reaching this promised land? Like, let it out. Like, if you want to share it in the chat, what is this roadblock that is standing between you and the promised land that you envision? Is it bad legislation? Is it ignorance? Is it apathy? Is it despair? Is it throw some stuff in the chat? There we go. Oh, good. We got some apathy. Capital, yeah, exactly. There we go. Amazing. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Greed, white supremacy, money and politics, not listening to each other. Trauma. Absolutely. You can continue sharing if you want, but I also now want us to just take a breath. Just fill up those lungs. And just let it out. I think anger can be an incredible life force when we acknowledge it. But the reason that this is in our Seder this acknowledgement of anger is that it allows us to think about these things before we act on it, to think about where our anger is coming from so we don't just make a rash decision and go out there and do something stupid with it. We acknowledge our anger so we can take a breath because we still have a bit more Seder to go. And actually, we're about to transition into a place of gratitude to hold our blessing alongside our anger so that we can intentionally channel that energy, all that energy that the anger generates, into action. We can't do it tonight. We're now going to end our meal. We're going to sing together. But then to say, okay, tomorrow I'm going to take that anger, I'm going to take that energy, and I'm going to do something with it. I'm going to work toward that redeemed world, and we'll be here to work toward that world with you. For now, let's transition to some gratitude.
Let us. This Seder is like a roller coaster of emotions. And I guess that's what life is too. All right, let's bring up the text. This is from Hallel, which we sing during the Seder, and we'll sing in Shul when we get back together next Shabbat morning. So here we go. We sing about the journey. Adonai zacharanu yivarech, yivarech et Beit Yisrael, yivarech et Beit Aharon, yivarech Yirei. You guys didn't hear anything I said. I'm so sorry. You just heard me having a great time over here. I said, let us sing about the journey that we're on, the journey that is neither starting at the bottom nor finishing at the top, but sort of a winding journey, including all of the emotions and the roller coaster of emotions that this Seder is, that mirrors life. And Hallel, which we sing during the Seder, and we'll sing on Shabbat next week, as we close out Passover, is about the journey from degradation to elation. Adonai zacharanu yivarech, yivarech et Beit Yisrael, yivarech et Beit Aharon, yivarech Yirei Adonai, hakatanim im hagedolim, Yosef Adonai alechem, alechem ve'havneichem, beruchim atem l'Adonai, osei shamayim va'aretz, hashamayim, shamayim l'Adonai, ve'haaretz natan livnei adam, lo hamitim yahallelujah, ve'lo chol yordei duma, ve'anachnu nevarech ya, ve'ata ve'ad olam, ve'ata ve'ad olam, hallelujah. Next slide. Hodu l'Adonai ki tov, ki le'olam chazdo. You can repeat in your house.
Hodu l'Adonai ki tov, ki le'olam chazdo.
And now go ahead and mute yourselves. And I'll have somebody here who can actually do that mirroring, but you should do it from where you're sitting too. Yomar na Yisrael, ki le'olam chazdo. Yomru na Beit Aharon, ki le'olam chazdo. Yomru na Beit Aharon, ki le'olam Are there more songs, Seth, in Hello after those? I think there are. Thank you. We included a lot of these. I mean, these are all in the Seder. Look, I mean, as you probably noticed tonight, there was a lot that is in a Maxwell House Haggadah that did not make it into this online Seder tonight for time. But much of the singing we really did want to keep. All right, so this is another sort of a different feel, but also praise. Sha'arei tzedek avo v'modaya. Okay, your turn. Pitchu li sha'arei tzedek avo v'modaya. Zeh sha'ar l'Adonai tzadi Kim yavo uvo zeshar l'Adonai tzadikim yavo uvo odecha ki ani tani v'tehi li lishua. Your turn. Odecha ki ani tani v'tehi li lishua. Even masu habonim hayita l'rosh pina. Even masu habonim hayita l'rosh pina. Me'et Adonai hayita zot hi niflat be'einenu. Me'et Adonai hayita zot hi niflat be'einenu. Zeh hayom asa Adonai Nagila v'nismecha vo. Zeh hayom asa Adonai Nagila v'nismecha vo. This is the day that God has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. All right. Over to you, Susan. We refill our fourth cup. Okay, Susan Horowitz, where are you? Yay!
Can you hear me?
Now we
Good.
can.
It is time for our fourth glass of wine, and my name is Susan, and I'm just happy and grateful to be with this community tonight. So let us together say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. And let's all drink our fourth glass of wine.
Amen.
Now that we are 4 glasses in, we have to somehow know what day it is. So we are going to play a video that Rabbi Lizzie recorded last year with Marnie Lothman, who is a TikTok star with the handle Singing Jewess, and they recorded this beautiful blessing for the Omer. So we're going to play the blessing, and then we will count the first day of the Omer together. The Omer is 49 days from today until the day before Shavuot. It's a period of sort of depressed joy. We take ourselves from this exultant experience of Exodus into this sort of like, we pull back just a little bit. Some people don't shave, they don't get married during the Omer. We depress our joy a little bit from this moment of Exodus, so that when we get to Shavuot, where we celebrate the receiving of Torah at Mount Sinai, we can once again mount a big all-night party. So we'll hear the blessing in this video, and then we will tell ourselves what day it is today. And then you are invited every day or night from now on to continue to count to yourself until we get to Sinai, literally and figuratively.
HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shchintei Hineni Muchan Umezuman Lekayem Mitzvat Kaseh Shel Sfirat HaOmer Shel Sfirat HaOmer Shel Sfirat HaOmer Shel Sfirat HaOmer שבע שבתות תמימות תהיינה, שבע שבתות תמימות תהיינה.
Hayom Yom Echad La Omer. Today is the first day of the Omer.
Do you want to do the whole blessing, Rabbi Dina, so we can all say it?
Sure. I will bless what I have just done. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat ha'omer. Blessed is the one who helps us count time and know that today is day 1.
All right. Unbelievably, we have made it to the end of our Seder. So, Seth, can you please bring up the last page? Or it's not really the last page, but it's the page that says finish. All right. So, there's a little rhyme for the end of the Seder. We have arrived. I invite you to say it with me here. Chasal Sidur Pesach Kehilchato Kechol Mishpato V'chukato Ka'asher Zachinu L'Seder Oto Ken Nizke La'asoto. This Seder is complete according to its laws and customs. As we were privileged to participate tonight, may we celebrate again, happy, free, and healthy. Whatever blessings you may have as we complete the Seder, and by the way, do a whole bunch of singing after the Seder is over, go ahead and write in the chat. If you haven't had a chance tonight to write what your promised land is, what your vision is, what you are moving toward, I invite you now as we sing Lashana Haba Yerushalayim, next year in Jerusalem, in peace, in justice, and in a redeemed world. What's an important part of that redeemed world for you? Doesn't have to be everything, can just be your thing. Lashana haba, Lashana haba, Lashana haba, Yerushalayim. Lashana haba, Lashana haba, Lashana haba, Yerushalayim. Lashana haba, Yerushalayim. Lashana haba. Yes, keep it going. Come on over. All right, y'all. Our first year, we were like, is anybody going to stay on for this? People don't even like this in real life. But then the truth is, it's actually so much more fun to be muted while other people sing all the funny words to all the funny songs. So this is an amazing opportunity. If you've always sort of wanted to sing along with all of the words, with the many, many words of the songs after the Seder, but always sort of felt like, oh, there's so many words and they move so fast and I can't keep up. Wonderful, nobody can hear you. So have fun and participate completely. Thank you all so much for being here, and I feel like I'm gonna thank you, but you don't have to go anywhere. But we're officially concluded. All right, should we start in English?
Sure. What do we do? We're doing Who Knows What?
Uh-huh.
Great. Okay.
All All right, wait, hang on. You're not fully on screen. Everyone, this is my husband, Henry Bernstein.
Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach. All right, wait, hang on. Seth, is there an Echad B'Yodea that's English? Do we have the English one?
I actually happen to have it if we don't.
Well, hang on. I mean, the way that we do have it. We do have it. It's just next, I think. I think it's next in the. Yeah, it's next. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you. We're gonna go back and do the Hebrew in a second, but I thought we'd ease in here. Who knows one?
I know one.
One is Hashem. One is Hashem. One is Hashem. In the heavens and the earth. Who knows two?
I know two.
Two are the tablets that Moses brought, and one is Hashem. One is Hashem. One is Hashem. In the heavens and the earth. Who knows three?
Mix it up. Just keep you.
Who knows three?
I know three.
Three are the papas and
papas
and two are the tablets that Moshe brought, and one is Hashem. One is Hashem. One is Hashem. In the heavens and the earth. Who knows? Four.
I know four.
Four are the mamas and three are the papas and two are the tablets that Moshe brought, and one is Hashem. One is Hashem. One is Hashem. In the heavens and the earth. Who knows four? Who knows five?
I know five.
Five are the books of the Torah, and four are the mamas, and three are the
mothers, and two are the tablets that Moshe brought.
And one is Hashem. One is Hashem. One is Hashem. In the heavens and the earth. Who knows six?
I know six.
Six are the parts of the Mishnah, and five are the books of the Torah, and four are the mamas, and three are the papas, and two are the tablets that Moshe brought, and one is Hashem. One is Hashem. One is Hashem. In the heavens and the earth. Who knows eight? Oh wait, did I do seven? Who knows seven?
Seven are the days of the week.
And six are the orders of the Mishnah, and five are the books of the Torah, and four are the mamas, and three are the papas, and two are the tablets that Moshe brought, and one is Hashem. One is Hashem. One is Hashem. In the heavens and the earth. Who knows eight?
I know eight.
Eight are the days before a bris, and seven are the days of the week. And six are the parts of the Mishnah, and five are the books of the Torah, and four are the mamas, and three are the papas, and two are the tablets that Moshe brought, and one is Hashem. One is Hashem. One is Hashem. In the heavens and the earth. Who knows nine?
I know nine.
Nine are the days the baby is born, and eight are the days to the Brit Milah, and seven are the days of the week. And seven are the parts of the Mishnah, and five are the books of the Torah, and four are the mamas, and three are the papas, and two are the tablets that Moshe brought, and one is Hashem. One is Hashem. One is Hashem. In the heavens and the earth. Who knows 10?
I know 10.
10
are the commandments. And 9 are the months before a baby is born.
And 8 are the days before a bris, and 7 are the days of the week. And 6 are the parts of the Mishnah, and 5 are the books of the Torah, and 4 are the mamas, and 3 are the papas, and 2 are the tablets that Moshe brought, and 1 is Hashem. 1 is Hashem. 1 is Hashem. In the heavens and the earth. Who knows 11?
I know 11.
11 are the stars in Joseph's dream. 10 are the commandments. And 9 are months till baby's born, and 8 are the days till a brit milah, and 7 are the days of the week. And 6 are the parts of the Mishnah, and 5 are the books of the Torah, and 4 are the mamas, and 3 are the papas, and 2 are the tablets that Moshe brought, and 1 is Hashem. 1 is Hashem. 1 is Hashem. In the heavens and the earth. Who knows 12?
I know 12.
12 are the tribes of Yisrael. 11 are the stars in Joseph's dream, and 10 are the commandments.
And 9 are the months before a baby is born, and 8 are the days before a bris, and
7 are the days of the week, and 6 are the parts of the Mishnah, and 5 are the books of the Torah, and 4 are the mamas, and 3 are the papas, and 2 are the days brought, and 1 is Hashem. 1 is Hashem. 1 is Hashem. In the heavens and the earth. Who knows 13?
I know 13.
13 are God's attributes.
13 are God's attributes, and 12 are the stars, the 12 tribes of Israel.
11 are the stars in Joseph's dream, and 10 are the commandments.
And 9 are the months before a baby is born, and 8 are the days before our birth, and 7 are the days of the week.
And 6 are the parts of the Mishnah, and 5 are the books of the Torah, and 4 are the mamas, and 3 are the papas, and 2 are the tablets that Moshe brought, and 1 is Hashem. 1 is Hashem. 1 is Hashem. In the heavens and the earth. Who are the mamas and the papas? Great question. Well, Henry says, well, they're the mothers and the fathers, the foremothers and the forefathers. I actually thought it would be really smart, and I don't know why nobody has done this before, to construct an entire conversion curriculum around this class, around this song, because every single verse is some really important Jewish idea. The oneness of God, the idea of Torah, the matriarchs, the patriarchs, Jewish feminism, like the whole thing, you know? And it just goes on and on until you get, you know, back to God at the end at 13 attributes. Anyway, it's a great song. Should we do it in Hebrew? Or should we come back to it in Hebrew? Henry has a hard time doing both English and Hebrew, but the Hebrew one's completely different.
It gets redundant.
It is redundant, but the song is completely different. Okay.
That's why there are 2 nights of Pesach. So
Yeah.
You can do one in English one night and one Hebrew the
But
other
a lot
night.
of people, this is their only Seder this year, Hen, so we're going to do both. Okay, let's bring the Hebrew one back up. Is that water?
I'm not saying I'm not going to do it. I'm just saying it's redundant.
All right. You ready, everybody? This one it's a very different feel. Well, it's the,
Is it?
Okay, maybe it's not a very different feel, but it's the completely different tune. All right. Echad mi yodeya, echad. We have a different way of singing it, huh? Do you want to sing how you sing it? Go ahead.
It's like I do like this.
Okay.
Echad mi yodeya, echad ani yodeya.
Echad Eloheinu, 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 B'shamayim uba'aretz. Shnayim, Yodeya, Shnayim, Ani Yodeya, Shnei Luchot HaBrit, Echad Eloheinu, 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 Shebashamayim uba'aretz, Shlosha, Mi Yodeya, Shlosha, Ani Yodeya, Shlosha avot shtei luchot habrit, echad Eloheinu, 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 shebashamayim uba'aretz, arba mi yodeya, arba, ani yodeya, arba imahot, shlosha avot shnei luchot habrit, echad Eloheinu, 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 shebashamayim uba'aretz.
Chamisha
Mi yodeya, chamisha, ani yodeya, chamisha chumshei Torah, arba imahot, shlosha avot, shnei luchot habrit, echad Eloheinu, 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 shebashamayim uba'aretz. Shlisha mi yodeya, shisha, ani yodeya, shisha sidrei mishnah, chamisha chumshei Torah, arba imahot, shlosha avot, shnei luchot habrit, echad Eloheinu, 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 shebashamayim uba'aretz. Should we go to 13?
Sure.
Let's just go to 13. All right, wait, hang on. All right, hang on. Seth has to get there. Thank you. Wait, all the way down to the bottom. Next one. Thank you.
It's going to be fast.
Okay, it's going to be fast?
Yeah.
All right. Wait. All right, cool. Here we go.
Ready?
Yeah. Shlosha asar mi yodeya, shlosha asar ani yodeya, shlosha asar midaya, shneim asar shiftaya, echad asar kochvaya, asara dibraya, shisha l'chaydim, shmona yemei milah, shiva yemei shabta, shisha sidrei mishnah, chamisha tumshei Torah, arba imahot, shlosha avot, shnei luchot habrit, echad Eloheinu, 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 sheba shamayim uba'aretz. At the end of every song, for any song that our 3-year-old Adira hears, she goes bonk. That's how that one ends too.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. I'm glad we have a movement happening in the chat right now. Justice for Bilha and Zilpah. So the next challenge, I give this to Rabbi Stephen and Hannah to figure out how to fit the two of them into that song. So just saying, next year in Jerusalem, next year with Bilha and Zilpah. All right. What else do we have in here?
Check it, yo.
Okay. All right.
Stephanie and Hunter would like to request the Miriam song.
Stephanie and Hunter would like to request the Miriam song.
I think they did that last year.
It's tradition. It's
We
tradition
wouldn't
now.
like to request. We are requesting.
We request.
We request.
I mean, okay. All right. Stephanie and Hunter, the gauntlet has been thrown down.
Somehow make that bigger.
All right. Also, I need to shed layers here because, whew.
Somehow make that
Trade them
bigger.
so that they have to dance for it. Like,
Yeah, but how about this? We can we can sing this song, but Stephanie and Hunter, maybe you should be spotlighted as well so that you can do some dancing. Because at least on my screen, wait, oh, okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. On my screen, we still have speaker view. I want to encourage everybody to do gallery view now so that you can see people dancing and bopping around. All right, Stephanie and Hunter, for you. And the women dancing with their timbros followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one who we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. And Miriam was a weaver of unique variety. The tapestry she wove was one which sang her history. With every strand and every thread she crafted her delight. A woman touched with spirit, she dances toward the light. And the women dancing with their timbros followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one who we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. When Miriam stood upon the shores and gazed across the sea, the wonder of this miracle she soon came to believe. Whoever thought the sea would part and with an outstretched hand, and we would pass to freedom and march to the promised land. And the women dancing with their timbros followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one who we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. And Miriam the prophet took her timbrel in her hand, and all the women followed her just as she had planned. And Miriam raised her voice in song, she sang with praise and might. We've just lived through a miracle, we're gonna dance tonight. And the women dancing with their timbros followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one who we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced all night long. And the women dancing with their timbros followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one who we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. Whew. All right.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful.
Thank you.
Any other requests?
Don't open that up.
Don't open it up. I know. It could be dangerous. All right. Well, while y'all are thinking about it. All right. Little Seder classic. Chad Gadya.
Oh, yes.
All right. I have to put my guitar down because this requires too many different kinds of attention.
Give us the goat, Sarah Lowe says.
You should follow along on your.
Okay. All right. Great.
It's not the beginning.
Oh, it's not? Okay. All right. That's the beginning.
There you
Okay.
go. Okay, are you doing the sound effects or am
We're all doing the sound effects, including the people at home.
Okay.
But I'm definitely doing sound effects.
Okay.
That's the part I'm the best at.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm the best at all the words.
Great. Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Chad
Gadya, Chad Gadya. Dizvan Abra Betrezu ze Chad Gadya, Chad Gadya. De Ata Shunra. Meow. Betrezu ze Chad Gadya. You guys, there's a goat and a cat so far. The Ata Kalba. Woof woof. Meow. Abba Betrezu ze Chad Gadya, Chad Gadya. Ve'ata chutra, ouch! Zanaba betrezu zechad gadya. I hope people at home are doing this. Ve'ata nura.
Saraf l'chutra, dehika lechalba,
Wait, hang
denashach
on.
l'shura,
Keep singing.
de'achla legadya,
Zana b'trezus.
You're great.
It's hard to make a fire sound and a stick sound. Ve'ata maya. Whoosh!
Saraf l'chutra,
Ouch, ow!
dehika lechalba,
Woof, woof.
denashach l'shunra,
Meow.
de'achla legadya,
Zvana b'trezus echad gadya.
Vata Torah.
Oh, mer.
Bishata lamaya.
Whoosh.
Techava lenura.
Fire.
Hasara l'chutra.
Ow!
Dehika lechalba. Denashach l'shunra. De'achla legadya. Dizbana
B'trezus echad gadya.
Vata shochet. Shachat lamaya. Shachat l'torah. Shata lemaya.
Whoosh.
Techava lenura.
Fire.
Saraf l'chutra.
Ouch.
Dehika lechalba. Denashach l'shunra. De'achla legadya. Dizbana
B'trezus echad gadya. Now wait a second, hang on. Before this last verse, when we get finally to the goat at the end, to Chad Gadya, you know those old videos of Taylor Swift that people would just like interject a goat sound, So okay, when we get to Chad Gadya, I want to ask everybody to unmute, and you can make a goat sound also. Okay,
But
all
we
right.
got 2 verses left.
2 verses left.
Vata malachama.
Oh my God.
We're not at God.
Okay, we're not at God yet.
This is just the
just
angel
prepare.
of death.
All right, this is the angel of death. We'll do that in the end verse for God.
It's an evil laugh.
Okay, it's an evil laugh.
Vata malachama
Mwah.
V'shachat l'shochet. De'shachat l'torah. De'shata l'maya.
Whoosh.
De'chava l'nura.
Ow.
De'saraf l'chutra.
Ow.
Dehika l'chalba.
Woof.
De'nashach l'shudra.
Meow.
De'achla legadya.
Meh.
Dizbana ba
B'trezus echad gadya.
Ve'ata
Kadosh
hakadosh
Baruch
baruch
Hu.
hu. V'shachat l'malcha mavet.
Mwah.
De'shachat l'shochet. De'shachat l'tura.
Meow.
De'nashata l'maya.
Whoosh.
De'chava l'nura.
Fire.
De'saraf l'chutra.
Ow.
Dehika l'chalba.
Woof, woof.
De'nashach l'shunra.
Meow.
De'achla legadya.
Wait, Abba b'trezus. Wait, hang on, we have to hear everybody's goat. Go ahead and take the screen down, Seth. Take the screen down so we can see everybody's beautiful face making goat sounds.
Oh,
Seth, how did you get a goat? I want to go.
Amazing. Thank you, Sarah, for the goat emojis. Wait, where did my... Still working on Kos Arba, my 4th cup. All right. I think we have time for like one more, y'all.
One more.
Oh. All right. I think hey Seth, let's go to page 58.
There's a page after Chad Gadya. That's the last page.
Oh husband, come back.
You can't do a song after Chad Gadya. That's the last one.
Oh well, we've got a couple more up our sleeve. Oh, Josh Schwartz says Adir Hu. Did we put that in our Haggadah?
We did skip it.
We did, I know. Oh, we do have it though. All right. We'll do Adir Hu and then maybe an encore if there's time. All right, 61, Seth. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Adir Hu, Yivnei Beito V'Karov, Bimhera, B'Yameinu V'Karov, El B'nei, B'nei Beitcha V'Karov, Bachur Hu, Gadol Hu, Dagul Hu, Yivnei Beito V'Karov, Bimhera, B'Yameinu V'Karov, El B'nei, B'nei Beito V'Karov, Hadurhu, Vatiku, Zakaihu, Yibhu, Yivne Beito Vakaro, Bimhera, Bimhera, Biyamenu Bekaro, El Bene, Bene Becha Bekarov, Tahorhu, Yachidhu, Kabirhu, Lamudhu, Melechu, Yivech. Oh, we're gonna keep going. Beito Bekaro, Bimhera, Biyamenu Bekaro, El Bene, Bene Becha Bekarov,
Kadoshu,
Rachumhu, Shaddaihu, Takifhu, Yivne Beito Bekaro, Bimhera, Biyamenu Bekaro, El Bene, Bene Becha Bekarov. And that song just does sound like a wall of Hebrew, but if you're really listening closely, it's in alphabetical order. All right. Now let's go back to 58. Let's close out with the very narrow bridge. Should we do it?
Oh, okay.
Henry's like, we're still going? Yeah. This'll be the last one, all right? Kol ha'olam kulo gesher tsar me'od gesher tsar me'od gesher tsar me'od kol ha'olam kulo gesher tsar me'od gesher tsar me'od v'ha'ikar lo lefached klal v'ha'ikar lo lefached klal. Ay, 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 Good times, everybody. Well, if you want to unmute yourselves as you're coming off tonight, say whatever you want to say. It would be great to hear your voices and see your faces.
Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach.
Chag
We were going to
Sameach.
sing Gesher Tzar Me'od also. Can we sing Gesher Tzar Me'od again and again?
Again and again and again. Oh, I love that you're asking that. I mean, we could probably sing it one more time, same tune.
Or do the other one that
Yeah.
that you usually do.
All right, Josh. All right.
I love them both. I'm sorry.
All right. Okay. I mean, all right. All right. So, Devorah, this is a different tune, but same words.
Oh, okay.
All right. Kol ha'olam kulo gesher tsar me'od. Kol ha'olam gesher tsar. Kol ha'olam kulo gesher tsar me'od. Kol ha'olam gesher v'ha'ikar לא לפחד כלל, לא לפחד, והעיקר, לא לפחד כלל, לא לפחד. כל העולם כולו גשר צר מאוד, כל העולם גשר צר. כל העולם כולו גשר צר מאוד, כל העולם
והעיקר לא לפחד כלל, לא לפחד, והעיקר, לא לפחד כלל, לא לפחד. As I walk along this very narrow bridge, as I walk along this very narrow bridge, I will not be afraid, knowing you are with me. As I walk along this very narrow bridge, I will not fear, knowing you are here. והעיקר, והעיקר, לא לפחד כלל, לא לפחד, והעיקר, 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 לא לפחד כלל, לא לפחד, והעיקר, 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 לא לפחד כלל, לא לפחד, והעיקר, והעיקר, לא לפחד כלל, לא לפחד.
All right, now everybody can come on and say goodnight as you're coming off. We agreed we'd be done by around 10:30 tonight, so thank you, Rabbi.
You want to start the video? Whatever you want. Turn. Why don't you turn it?
Chag Sameach. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Here.
Good night.
Good night, Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach. This was fun and lovely.
Thank you for sticking around.
Let's
Chag Sameach, everyone. Good night.
Chag Sameach, Nididi. Good night.
Hi. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Lots of love, everybody.
Oh, Chag Sameach.
Oh, hey, Mom.
I'm trying to close this. Terrible time. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
No kidding. It was great. It was beautiful. The music was wonderful.
Thanks, Mama.